You have given such a fantastic response on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Ali Velshi CNN, to the question that I posed to you, and that is that we talk about Pakistan every day. What is your interest level in knowing what's going on in Pakistan, and why is this aid not coming to Pakistan in light of this recent flooding that we show you pictures of every single day? Let me just give you the numbers. 15.4 million people are affected by the flooding, which is basically from the north of the country to the south of the country, almost 3,000 miles, 1,400 people dead, more than 2,000 injured, lots of people getting sick or likely to get sick because of the failure or the inability to access clean water. Here's what they need. Obviously, they need clean water. They need shelter because entire villages and towns have been wiped out. Other places are surrounded by water. They need food and they need medicine. According to the United Nations, they need $460 million worth of it. They've received $148 million worth of aid. I've had a lot of responses on Facebook, and I want them to continue, but I pulled one out in particular, and it's from Sid on Facebook, and he says, Ali, I have a problem caring about Pakistan because the people there hate Americans. I see them as part of the problem where terrorism is concerned. I definitely don't want American or UN soldiers giving aid to the Swat Valley. That's just one. I have many saying, keep going with the coverage that you've got. You know, a lot of people wondering whether or not the aid will get there effectively. There's a great discussion going on there. So if you want to have that discussion and state your points, go to Facebook and do that. I want to bring in Molly Kinder. She's a senior policy analyst at the Center for Global Development, live from the D.C. Bureau, because we are curious, given how much we cover Pakistan, why it doesn't have the face of other disasters that we've seen, namely Haiti and the earthquake. And one of the things you said to me earlier, Molly, is that earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, things like that have a sudden news feeling to it. This was more gradual. Maybe that's got something to do with it?
Yeah, I think so. I think when we think about some of these really catastrophic disasters that were an imminent moment, like the tsunami and the earthquake, I think, Americans, we can picture that, we can understand that, we can wrap our minds around that. And I really think that the pace of this flooding, the scale of it, it's a map of the world that we don't quite even have a good sense of. So I think we're slowly waking up to just how enormous this disaster is.
What is the international bodies, the aid agencies, the governments, they're not supposed to be sort of subject to these whims of how this is portrayed on the media or what someone may feel. How have they responded to this, this catastrophe?
That's a great question. When we look at the individual donor countries, the United States has the largest commitment, where the most recent numbers from USAID put the United States at about $90 million. And the United Kingdom is behind that. But really, there's very small numbers coming from a lot of the other countries around the world. The World Bank, for its part, has just announced $900 million in shuffling a bit of their current lending and new money. So that's a pretty major commitment. But really, even the United States and the UK, which are giving the most and are doing really good work, even we have the capacity to do a whole lot more than what we're seeing. So I really think we need to see at least double the numbers we're seeing right now.
One of the things that a lot of this flooding is in areas that were hard to get to if there wasn't flooding, but really this is affecting a big swath of Pakistan from the top to the bottom. If people were to donate money, are we fairly certain it can get to the places that need the help? And I ask you this because you, were you in Pakistan after the earthquake the last time?
I was.
You've got some sense of it.
Right, and there was also huge challenges in 2005. We're talking in 2005 earthquake of a really mountainous terrain in the Himalayas that was quite difficult to reach as well. And I think you raise a really good point, which is that because of the destruction we've seen with roads washed out and bridges down, it is difficult for aid workers to reach some of these remote areas. And I've seen stories of donkeys being used and sort of creative ways of trying to reach these places. But I think it just underscores the need for more giving. I mean, more helicopters, more boats. What we've seen, for example, from the United States is really impressive. They've done a really good job, but there should be more of it. So I think we really would love to see, more commitments from individuals, but certainly from countries like the United States as well.
How would you ascribe this issue that I read, the Facebook thing that I had about some people associating Pakistan as maybe not being, you know, this in the last couple of months we've discussed, is Pakistan an ally? Is it working against the U.S. aims in Afghanistan? The truth might be a bit of both. The idea that we've been talking about Pakistan in reference to other things, so people hear Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iraq every day on the news. How much of it is fatigue with the name and the topic, and how much of it is this concern that I can't help somebody who I think might be working against me?
You know, I think that's a good point. My first response is that we're talking about human beings, and we're talking about close to 20 million of them. So, you know, even if Pakistan has some, you know, associations with a small percent of the population having links to extremist groups, we're really talking about human beings on a huge scale. Separate from that, I actually think this is a really good point. I actually think one of the reasons why we should be doing more is because of the security concerns associated with Pakistan. I mean, the quote that you discussed from Facebook was referring to the Swat Valley. 1 year ago, we had a Pakistan Taliban insurgency 70 miles from Islamabad. That does not serve U.S. interest. An unstable Pakistan with a growing insurgency in a country with nuclear weapons, this is bad news for the United States. So I actually think the fact that Pakistan is so important to our security at home is just one more reason on top of the humanitarian scale that the United States and the UK and the international community should be doing even more than it's doing.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us to remember, us just regular people, that these are our fellow humans, not not everybody can be ascribed to a political move or a party. Thanks so much, Molly. Good to talk to you. Molly Kinder is Senior Policy Analyst at the Center for Global Development in D.C. To get more information, for those of you who do want to help, if you want to get more information on ways you can make a difference and help provide relief for the flood victims in Pakistan, visit our Impact Your World page at cnn.com/impact. For those of you who don't, that's okay. You're welcome to continue the discussion that is going on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Ali Velshi CNN. Tell me why you don't want to, or why you don't think Pakistan's getting the attention it might get.